Genji 2 is an action game which is based on Japanese history. Being based on history, the stages of the game will also be based on famous battles which actually took place in ancient Japan. So here's this giant enemy crab.
Dang.
What's wrong?
Games on Game Pass lose up to 80% of expected sales
That
on
makes sense.
Xbox. 80%?
Oh, on Xbox, yeah, that makes sense.
The funny thing is that it also drives up sales on PlayStation.
Really? How so?
Because the theory I saw was people to say like word of mouth spreading of more people playing it. So you get more people on PlayStation to buy that game that wouldn't have because they don't have.
I see.
Yeah.
It's just free advertising.
Yeah, basically.
Well, not free, but yeah. Wow. That's kind of nuts. I mean, I always expected they lose money, but did we ever look at how much a game is paid to be licensed on Game Pass?
There's no definitive number. It varies for every game. There's like no set price or anything.
It's kind of fucked up when you think about it, especially when Epic was doing the whole like basically bribing developers to get onto the Epic Game Store.
Exclusivity thing.
Yeah, remember when that was the thing? Just to say you can't put the game on Steam if you but you can only have it on the Epic Game Store, but we'll give you like a ton of money up front. So it doesn't matter how well your game does, you already got paid. I don't see a lawsuit there. Like, when did they get sued for that?
Wasn't Dauntless on the Epic Game Store?
Still is, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it came to Steam.
Okay, because I remember when that came out, everybody's like, yo, look at this Dauntless is so cool. And then like 2 weeks later, no more. Nobody was touching it. And that's whenever I think of the Epic Game Store, that's my first thought is like, what happened to Dauntless? I suppose more people use it for Fortnite, right? That's Epic.
Probably.
Yeah, that is their main driving thing behind that.
Yeah. That is like their golden goose.
Yeah, as long as Fortnite's on there.
Yeah, the amount of stuff they give away all the time is like absurd.
Well, they got Fortnite money.
I know, it's crazy. Not even just like games either, just like assets. I remember when I put on with Unreal Engine before, the amount of stuff you could just get for free on there every month forever was insane. Like they're like legit. I remember they teamed up with a company that makes like super resolution textures, and they bought the company, I think, or they either worked with them and gave away all the textures that company had made to anyone using Unreal Engine. Like you could just use them all.
Oh, damn.
It just puts in perspective like how successful that company is. It's insane.
Well, speaking of a successful company, welcome to episode 30 of the Giant Enemy Crab podcast. I'm your host, Fliz, joined by wonderful, wonderful co-hosts, Kyler.
Hello.
And Soon.
Hello.
And Strider.
Greetings.
And we're here for another bout. Bout? Would that be a good word? Another set?
Well, we gonna fight.
Another bit of gaming news, and I'm not even gonna hesitate this time. I think we're just gonna barrel on through, and we're gonna let me hear what's going on with these new graphics cards you got.
Oh my god, they're scary. They're
what
actually
do you mean scary.
They're scary how strong these things are. So Nvidia, they've been cooking apparently, because they just came out with a bunch of new stuff. Because this is not just going to be about their graphics card, which they just released. There's even more to it. But the RTX 50 series has officially been announced. It's coming out with the 5090 at the top of the line, and the price point is $2,000 base cost.
What? Like,
it's also a power guzzler.
Yeah. Kind of a lot.
575 watts at maximum draw. That
it fucking hurts.
I have a fucking overkill for a power supply at like 1100. I would be scared to run that thing on that.
Isn't it huge too, like size wise?
No, actually, that's the crazy part. It is the same size. Well, it takes up the same two slots, a dual slot GPU. And here's what's even crazier. It runs, this is quoting Nvidia here, 2 times faster than the RTX 4090. Right?
I'm so behind. I'm never gonna catch up. I can see the appeal for consoles now. Immediately, I'm like, it's gonna cost me like $3,000 at least.
Oh, yeah, then you're gonna be interested in what I have later to say, because there's some goodies for you too. So don't worry.
Well,
Don't
just
worry.
real quick, that 500 something watts, that's like having an extra refrigerator.
Yeah.
Just that's
Yep.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
No, it is a lot. It's crazy.
it's a hefty jump in power, but it's also like twice the performance of the RTX 4090. And we're going to talk about these numbers too. But also the 59 or 5080, excuse me, the series below that is also twice as fast as the 4080. So this is all around like a huge jump in performance. The main thing here is kind of looking at like the raw power between the 5080 and the 5090. Like that jump is kind of absurd, because the 5090 has literally probably about like twice the, I guess, stats, if you want to call it that. It has like twice the CUDA cores, has like twice the memory, just everything, compared to the 5080, which is being priced at around $1,000. So you're pretty much getting like two cards and like two 5080s in one when you buy a 5090. It's like top tier. You're not getting close to this thing. It is the best you can get.
I'm still on DDR3.
Are you? No, I think you're doing DDR. You have DDR4.
Dude, if you had DDR3, your computer's not going to boot at this rate.
Yeah, no.
We have figured out why your computer is crashing. I think I know now. Your RAM is dying.
So from what they've said, the I believe by around the end of the month, the 5090 and the 5080 will be available, with the other models being available later this year. And that's going to be the 5070 Ti and 5070. And these performance marks go across the board. Like they follow down. The 5070 is about twice as fast as the 4070, and so on and so forth.
I was just, because it's neither here nor there really. I was like, because my tower is like out the shop like 2 years old, maybe 3 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And it can't handle any of this shit. So like, how new does your PC have to be to really take advantage of any of this?
Exactly. That's the question, right? Because if you're someone like me who just bought a new RTX 4080 Super, you got to be thinking to yourself like, well, shit, did I just like fuck myself over? Like, what is this? And that's where you kind of had to look into the nuance of how they actually get these numbers. Because when they say that it has twice the performance, right, of the previous cards, the reason they're saying that is because of the other thing they announced alongside these. With the release of the new Blackwell architecture, that basically what these are kind of built on. What also comes is their next frame generation technology, including DLSS4. So the reason why they're able to get these huge performance increases is because their frame gen they have now, instead of making one extra frame for every frame you make, which is what DLSS3 was able to do, the new one makes 3 extra frames for every frame you make.
Oh my God.
So that's where these huge performance increases are coming. So they're kind of not real, or you can look at it as being, it's just much more efficient, because the processor is just like guessing at what's going to be happening and giving you like, you know, an inflated frames per second. So really good if you have high frame rates, not that great if you have low frame rates. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, you're not 100% screwed if you if you bought like a 40 model recently. This isn't you can kind of take that with a grain of salt.
The thing that I've heard about this, though, about the multi-frame generation, is that it's not supposed to increase input lag any more than our current single frame gen does, is what they were reporting.
Yep, and we can get into that too, because that's something else that they announced. But to kind of wrap up like these new cards, it looks like, I'm surprised the prices aren't even higher, to be honest with you. They seem like fairly fair, except for the 5090 at $2,000 is kind of absurd. But the actual like raw power of the card is also insane. I believe this card actually broke a record for the most CUDA cores in a single processing unit it's commercially available. I think it's a little over 20,000, and the 5080 only has like a little over 10,000. So that's kind of a lot. So you can do a lot with it besides games too. So I'm sure they're going to be like scooped up by so many like Bitcoin miners and such. That's probably why it's there. But the main kind of things are what we're going to get into now, which is the new DLSS 4 that's coming out. So it has the new frame generation.
Hold
Go ahead.
on.
Yeah.
What is that?
So DLSS is something that's been around for a few years now that NVIDIA made. It stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling. What it does is before we had DLSS, what we used to do to make like the frame that you see on your monitor, right, is the GPU would like create the frame and then just display it. Like that's what it would do.
Mhm.
What DLSS does is a type of deep learning technology that analyze like a ton of different images and stuff to take a much lower resolution frame, make one that's like not as high res, run it through the algorithm that DLSS to upscale that image into one that matches what you're actually trying to look at.
Okay.
So what that does is it makes it more efficient because you can put most of your computing power into making lower resolution frames, but still display them as what you want to see, which is that 1080p to 4K, right?
I got you. So it's kind of like in the dumbest terms possible, like a really strong magnifying glass, right? Like
Yep. That's actually a very good analogy because what they actually do now, from how advanced it's gotten, is for every pixel that you see on your screen, right? The DLSS 4 makes 15 more of them. You actually only see 1/16 of the actual thing that your graphics card made. Everything else is from frame generation for this new DLSS 4.
So many pixels.
But yeah, so with multi-frame generation now, you can get some pretty huge numbers in regards to frame rate. And what's really nice that's coming out is there's other improvements that they're making with DLSS because of how they're kind of rearranging stuff. And these are backwards compatible. So now not only is the new graphics card going to get the multi-frame generation, DLSS is improving just on as an algorithm itself. So previous RTX cards, including the 20 series, the 30 series, and 40, will just be better overall. So they'll be better at ray tracing. They're going to have better resolution, be able to kind of create higher detail for motion that's happening. And also their anti-aliasing that they're going to be using too will be available for every RTX card.
You said the 20 series too, right?
Yeah.
Like I got a legit smile on my face.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Every RTX generation is going to get an improvement from this new DLSS. That's enormous. Actually huge.
I'm about it.
What's really nice about how this works too is because these upgrades are an algorithm that happens inside the graphics card, the games do not need to support the new version of DLSS. They still need to support the previous one, but they don't need to go back to update to 4. You can actually force your graphics card to still use these new upgrades for games that even say they're not going to bother doing it.
And that's new for this generation of DLS, right?
It is, yeah.
Because the previous ones had to be programmed manually to use it and weren't backwards compatible like this.
Yep. So this is just a huge upgrade across the board, kind of a win-win for everyone. This is pretty big stuff.
I'm excited. It sounds good.
Now, the one thing is the input lag is kind of oof. Because if you've ever played with frame gen on, you felt the input lag. You can feel it. It gets better if you play at higher frames. You don't feel as much. But when you're playing Black Myth Wukong at max settings, and you have to have frame gen on to get to above 60, it's not fun. It chugs a little bit, right? So what Nvidia has done to introduce or to kind of mitigate that input lag is they've released what they're called Reflex 2, which is an upgrade to their original Nvidia Reflex. And this is when they really start cooking. This is kind of absurd, to be honest with you. So what Reflex does is pretty much it's a way to reduce input lag by guessing what's going to be on the screen based on your mouse movement before your graphics card makes the frame itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. And this is something we've had before too. And we've actually had it for a very long time, for like over a decade, because this is what VR headsets use. The way that they mitigate like motion sickness is by guessing what's going to be on your screen, like when you move your head. And that's why like phones and stuff can actually even do VR. Like that's what enables them, because it's really cheap to do.
Mhm.
What makes NVIDIA Reflex 2, like the difference maker behind it, is the fact that they're using what's called in-painting in order to fix the issues with this technology. Because the problem is you can only get so much information, like whenever you basically stretch an image to predict what's over there. That's how they're like, that's how they're kind of making the illusion and tricking you into thinking your GPU is making new frames when it's not, right?
Okay.
What they're doing is they're using AI to fill the gaps and actually make it so something is actually being drawn there instead of just stretching images of what you can already see.
Dang. So it's that advanced already.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
It's pretty cool, actually.
And it sounds like very complicated because it's hard to explain, but if you watch it, it makes more sense. But to give you an idea of how effective it is, they did test this where the input latency with Reflex off in the finals, the video game, first person shooter, was 56 milliseconds. With Reflex 2 on, it goes down to 14.
Oh, shit.
It is up to 75% reduction in input latency.
It's a pretty sizable difference.
Yeah, it is enormous.
Dude, no wonder AMD gave up.
Yeah,
Like, this is monstrous.
it is a absolute monster of a update that we got all new graphics cards. All the RTXs are getting upgraded. We got new NVIDIA Reflex coming out, which reduces latency by up to 75%. I think it's an additional, like 25% over what Reflex 1 was already doing. So it's 50% better. So yeah, go ahead.
Is this like, how many examples do we have of AI being used in a positive fashion? This is like 3. This makes 3.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because the new version of this is actually the neural networking they're using is based off of ChatGPT. That's kind of how they were able to make this.
Oh, I'm excited. If only I had a couple $1,000s. But I mean, back when my first PC was going on, like that was COVID, and you'd get a much worse graphics card for double the price you're getting now.
Oh yeah.
So,
and that's also the exciting part is because with this new frame gen technology, what it really means is because that's only available for the 50 series, to make that clear. The new multi-frame gen is only on the 50s. It makes it so that the lower tier ones, the actual affordable cards for that series, will be massively improved. Like you can get like for sure performance on that compared to the other ones, just because, for every frame you make, you're making 3 more. So it just makes it so much more efficient than a lot of the other cards, even the 40 series, which already had like a lot of flack because sometimes the 30s would beat it out in raw performance.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that the graphics cards are, because I was kind of worried about it. I was thinking about it earlier today where I was like, man, the graphics just keep getting better and better. And well, no, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking like the system requirements just keep getting, much higher, like way faster. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference in graphics that would like necessitate that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does for whatever reason, but like the games still look the same to me, minus, shiny examples. But like for the most part, games pretty much look the same as they did 4 or 5 years ago, but the requirements are double now. So I'm hoping that this will kind of alleviate some of that stress on my PC just by upgrading my existing graphics card, if that's sounding like it's possible, if that is possible.
Yeah, and this is where the caveats come in, because there's some questions that have to be asked here. One, because this is already becoming a problem, like very slowly, but it definitely is. If the multi-frame gen is becoming a standard, are we going to see system requirements that use that in their specifications? Because,
absolutely.
Yeah. Which means
like it's not even a question. We already have a very popular game coming up that is requiring frame gen as it is being spec'd for it.
Yeah. And now with DLSS 4 offering multi-frame gen, which is 3 times better than already what we have now, we're going to run into some not false marketing, but definitely feels like it. Like, oh yeah, you just need this asterisk with multi-frame generation.
Oh my God. The amount of like horribly unoptimized games. And I mean, yeah, sure. They're going to say they need, the multi-frame. Like we're going to know that it requires that, but everybody who downloads the game on Steam is going to be like, shit doesn't work. This is garbage. Do not buy.
Oh yeah. We get that no matter what anyways.
There's going to be a lot of games that die from this. It feels like.
I'm going to be very interested and see what happens for console players then.
Yeah.
Because you still got to make it for consoles. They still.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Because Switch. You think the Switch 2 is prepared for this? Because that's like done, right?
The Switch 2 has some. Well, it's the most impressive Nintendo console, but like I think it's.
So I was just gonna say I did see something talking about AI upscaling possibly being involved with Switch 2, but I don't know if that's real or not.
I am not certain. But the Switch 2, I believe, is reported to be slightly stronger than the PS4 Pro.
Oh, God.
But we at the PS5 now.
Yeah.
Nintendo, what the fuck?
They're following the beat of their own drum. They're
only making the most popular console of all time.
Yeah, they're only competing with themselves.
I was gonna say, they don't really care about this whole console race anymore. They're just like, we're doing this, and it's probably gonna still be pretty fucking all right. So,
I mean, the Switch is, I think, the top selling console right now.
I do enjoy the Switch quite a bit.
This might help the Switch get even more sales because people can't. I don't know. It's PC gaming is so expensive.
Yeah.
At least if it has a Switch port, it's gonna run.
Yeah, I'm only playing Switch games from now on.
Not because I want to, but because I can't play anything else.
Oh.
The Switch has become. I love the system. I usually just use it for RPGs though. I like having RPGs on the go.
I use it to keep my kid quiet. I don't fuck with the Switch. It just sits there.
I guess that's another use for it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm excited to see where that goes. Because I mean, personally, I'm not like, you can show me ray tracing and stuff. I could not give a fuck. I kind of the news that the older graphics cards may end up, well, I guess will end up being a lot more competitive is music to my ears. Everything else I can't afford, but that part I really love.
Yeah. There are other unfortunate sides of it too. One being that they've stopped making the 40 series like in totality. So they're only making the 50s. So that's going to have an effect on prices. The other thing is too, just a question of, and I don't know how this goes, to be honest. I don't know the numbers behind it, but I do know that the new Nvidia Reflex does push a lot of how it works to the CPU, because in order for it to create the frame that it displays to you, it has to pass it to the CPU, which displays it, and then so on and so forth. That's kind of the order of operations and how that works. And I don't know how taxing it is on a CPU. So that's something to keep in mind, depending on what you have.
I'm still screwed. Never mind. I take it all back.
But they did test this because Nvidia smart. They did test this on PCs that specifically had a CPU bottleneck, where that was the thing that slowed it down. And they tested this on Valorant, which still had a very low latency happening. But it was also at 800 frames a second. So I don't know how accurate that is and what they consider a CPU bottleneck. I don't know.
Why would you ever need frames that high?
Try with something like Space Marine 2. Just something that will actually cause the CPU to struggle.
Yeah,
Now,
Valorant's a weird choice.
They did something similar to that, and that's where you kind of see the numbers kind of fall apart. Because they did have it show on Warhammer 40k Darktide with the new DLSS. This is in regards to this, not so much NVIDIA Reflex.
Now, real quick, I remember you guys were struggling with making that game run properly, right? Like it just wasn't optimized very well when it came out.
First came out, I could see, it's gotten a lot more stable, but
I just wanted to. It's a taxing game.
I did not have enough RAM was my problem.
it is taxing to a certain degree.
Okay. That's all I really wanted to verify.
100% a RAM issue for me. And I believe soon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
At the time,
And the new DLSS
Mm-hmm.
only gave it like 13 more frames. So from 124 to 137. So there are limits to what it can do. It's not perfect, and it doesn't always equate to just a crazy 2 to 3 times boost in FPS. It just doesn't work that way. So we do have to kind of ask ourselves, what is going to be the limits on the CPU now? In regards to these, are you going to have to upgrade that too to kind of be able to mesh with DLSS 4 and Reflex 2? That I don't know, so that's something to keep in mind. But I think the main takeaways from what they've released is that they're going to be bringing a lot of upgrades to all of their RTX series. Multi-frame gen is now an option for further down the line if you want to get it, but it's still a new technology. So I don't think you're going to see kind of what we're seeing now with requirements using frame gen as as a system requirement. I don't think it's going to happen yet with multi-frame gen, considering how long it took for that to happen already. But probably, maybe in a couple years, you'll probably start seeing that. But for now, I
wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. For now, I'm curious for the 40s, or excuse me, the 5070 cards to come out so we can kind of see their performance and beyond just kind of what NVIDIA is saying, because those are going to be the ones that most people are going to buy.
The 50s?
The 5070s. Those are kind of the
57 and the 57 Titan.
What are the price points on those?
They're going to be around 500.
It's
really?
It's
Okay.
550, I think, for the 57 and 5070, and the 5070 Titan is 750, I think.
Yeah. So those are the more affordable ones where you're not dropping a grand plus to to play Monster Hunter.
That sounds way more manageable.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. Just being able to have that, to have multi-frame gen, to get that huge boost in performance, that's what's going to make them such efficient cards. That's why it's really good, and why I can see why AMD said, "Yeah, fuck this."
They just gave up.
No more, please, no more.
Done. They're too powerful.
Well, in theory, it's going to be 750. Let's see how scalping works.
Oh God, yeah, that's going to be a pain.
Is scalping still as big of an issue as it was? Because I know the PS5 Pro that hit scalpers pretty hard. They got kind of screwed, right?
Well, yeah.
I think the Pro was more just because it was an awkward release more than anything.
It wasn't high in demand.
Yeah. It wasn't really everyone was trying to get one like PS5 was. And also, I don't know if we're in as much of a superconductor shortage as we were back then. That's the other thing. So it might be an issue. It really depends. because with how successful scalpers were before, you probably have a lot of money to do it again. So
but I don't think there's people mining Bitcoin. Like, I mean, obviously there are, but it was like huge. Everybody was doing it. Everybody had stacks and stacks of graphics cards in a basement out in the yard. So
turning their basement into an oven.
Let's see how efficient they are at mining, I guess.
That's true. We'll find out.
Why is your floor so hot? Nothing.
All right. Well, shit. I'm excited. Thank you for that news. You've brought joy to somebody who was really worried. There's a chance.
It is fleeting.
There's a chance. Yeah, it's going to be pretty
I'll
great.
take that chance.
But yeah, so getting beyond like the kind of tech talk, I suppose. I got some Final Fantasy news too.
Oh boy.
Which Final Fantasy?
Oh, Final Fantasy 14, the GOAT.
Oh,
A couple things. There's an absolute legend on Reddit by the name Churn a Blind Eye, who went through the entire script of Final Fantasy 14 from A Realm Reborn 2.0 to Dawn Trail and found out that Wook-Lamont has the third most dialogue across every expansion.
Even because I remember, look, I didn't watch any of it, right? But I was always skipping the two little white-haired short folks.
Yep.
And they seem to be talking all the time.
They do. They're the
Twins
only
have a lot
two
of
that
lines.
beat her.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the
Dang.
Alphanod now they have a lot of lines.
That they do, but it's only in that. If you actually look at Dawn Trail specifically, she is not only like the number one. Wook-Lamont is also the most used phrase by characters in second and third place too. So if Wook-Lamont is not on screen, the only thing everyone is talking about is Wook-Lamont.
Dude, maybe it really wasn't that bad. It's just like when you try to shove something down people's throats like they did with that character, it's hard to be like, oh, I want to hear more about Wook-Lamont.
My favorite part about this too is this count apparently only takes into consideration their name. It does not take into account like all the different epitaphs they have.
Still.
like the third promise and stuff is not in there. So yeah, someone did the math. Basically, her name is being said almost every 3 minutes that you're playing Dawn Trail.
All this makes me think of, Lionel, is when we were playing Disarray, and every time Reinhard showed up and he kept having a new title. You losing your mind. And you're like, how many fucking titles does this motherfucker have?
It's constant.
And then they use a random new one like halfway through, and you're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I
And
remember
he shows up
that.
again.
Oh man. But to go along with this, Final Fantasy 14 is apparently threatening to drop below 1 million active players now. Not
no.
not ideal. Considering they just hit over 1.4 million during the release of Dawn Trail. And them dropping below 1 million is actually less than they had in the previous expansion on release.
That's, I mean, one, yeah, that tends to happen with the, I mean, WoW had the same issues sometimes, but like, it's kind of weird that now that's happening, because I felt like the outrage over Dawn Trail was just peak like a month after, you know?
Yeah.
So did it just take this long for everybody to really be kind of like, all right, we're over it? Or is it just Dawn Trail's fault?
Well,
it's hard to say,
Well,
to be honest.
so you're saying that it dropped below 1 million, which is less than Endwalker, right? Its launch.
It's less than Endwalker at launch by quite a bit, because
But how does it compare to Endwalker this far past? Like, from how long has it been since Dawn Trail?
That was in the summer, I think.
So 6
Yeah.
months, 6 months.
Give or take.
What was the number for 5 to 6 months after Endwalker?
So I don't know when they released, but I do have the patch like the patches with their
comparisons.
Yeah. So 5.1, it actually went down in Endwalker from 1.3 to 1.2, but then 6.1 it rose to 1.7. And right now the active player count from this article by The Gamer is at 1.03. It's like really close. Really close to 1 million.
You know, that is also fair, I guess, because Endwalker capping off the series.
Yeah, and like they said, Dawn Trail was the beginning of one, and now that the beginning is over, and we're just waiting for the next segment. You know,
Yeah.
I can. Yeah, it makes
I was
sense.
going to say that usually tends to happen with most MMOs that
That's true.
release expansion content.
Yeah. Here's the reason it's a problem, though, is because of their Square Enix's financial report last August. Because according to them, 68.4% of its profits was made from MMOs, which means which means Final Fantasy 14 is kind of like their big moneymaker right now.
It is their cash cow.
They are kind of in a tight spot. So for their player numbers to be dropping down like this spectacularly is not great for them, to be honest.
What other MMOs do they have?
Wizard 101.
Wizard 101.
Do they?
Maybe is
do they
Black
own
Desert
Wizard
them?
101?
Black Desert? I don't think is them, right? Because Black Desert's a Korean company, right?
Yeah, Black Desert's a
well,
Korean
then,
company.
It's FF14 and Dragon Quest X is what they said helped make the most profits out of their MMOs.
I'm actually annoyed. I went to look at Wizard 101. It is not Square Enix.
Misinformation
I
Fliz
know.
strikes again.
I strike again. Hey man, it has all the Final Fantasies and Dragon Quest X, and then I think it kind of shoots off into weird stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Google didn't help me out there.
to be fair to Final Fantasy 14, though, they have not released a lot of the other stuff that is going to come out, which is the relics haven't come out yet. The new deep dungeons are not out yet either. So
they
there's still
recently teased some of them though.
oh,
Not
sure.
the relics, but some like there was like one of the big updates just happened.
They just dropped the new Ultimate, right? Like relatively recently.
Yeah. That's what it was. The
Yeah,
new
they
Ultimate
did.
stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder what
Go ahead.
fraction of the player base is actually like rabid for those ultimates. You know, like what kind of change that actually creates in the player base, if any at all, really, because it's got to be a super small percentage that are even looking at ultimates.
It's a very dedicated community.
it is. Yeah. It's hard to say with MMOs too, just because like some aspects of it that keep people hooked for so long is more social in nature than anything else. So like you have people that just hang out all day and just hang out in people's houses and stuff. That's what they do.
You just reminded me.
Mm.
This is like a little side thing. You just reminded me that WoW housing is going to become a thing in the next expansion.
I can't believe it's not, to be honest.
No,
with you.
that is actually happening, and I'm like, oh, I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like.
It's mind-boggling to me that is not a thing. That like thinking back, like I had a house in RuneScape when I used to play RuneScape.
The thing is, too, is I could see that being very popular. Well, depending on how they let you do the housing, because there's
Oh yeah.
a lot of really nice kind of like environments in WoW that you could, just like an F14, where it would be really nice to have like a house in. I don't think they're going to do district base or what they're going to do or instance base, but
I mean, regardless of how nice it would be, it sounds like they're losing out on a lot of money by not having another gold sink.
Oh,
you
for
know?
sure.
well, no,
Yeah.
it is mind-boggling that it took them this long.
Well, they were making so much money off the mounts. There was no need.
I do remember reading somewhere apparently it had been in the works for a while, but like I think it got backburnered for a long time, and then they finally refocused on it.
Yeah, to be fair
That
to them,
makes
they
sense.
did make WoW Classic all
I was
over
gonna say,
again.
Dude,
And they did all
What?
that. They do all the expat. What do you call them? What's the word for them?
expansions,
Expansions?
X-Packs.
There's a X packs.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
You
I
said
remember-
it.
Yeah, you did kind of. You part. Yeah, I'm trying to remember because classic itself is climbing through the expansions, and it's kind of sitting like at this point, like what? When did we just admit that this is just getting back to retail at this point?
It is. There's none to admit.
I mean,
It's
that's
just
the
there.
point, right? It's to like retrace it. The real question is when they get far enough, are they going to do a classic? Because
Absolutely.
Classic.
and it just branches indefinitely.
Absolutely, because like I keep seeing clips. Like the hot thing right now is WoW Classic Hardcore mode. Like that's what I'm seeing a lot of people play.
That looks crazy, to be honest. I've been watching Thor play that.
Dude, it is so weird too, because like there are some things they've added to classic that change it from even being classic. Like there's what was it? It was like glove enchants and stuff that add like abilities that weren't in the original experience and stuff. And I'm like, so this isn't classic anymore. And it's just like, but it's cool.
Also, I love how wild Lionel's sentence was with no context.
What do you mean?
I was watching Thor play it.
Yeah, Thor, God of Thunder.
Yeah,
My favorite
he's a Twitch streamer when he's not helping the Avengers.
We talk about him so much here. Do I have to say where he's
Pirate
from all the
software.
time? Yeah,
Hey, man, might always be a new viewer
that's true. I love him. He's great.
that made it 40 minutes in.
I always enjoy every short that I get recommended.
Oh, speaking of great things, soon you're going to be excited.
Yes, tell me so I don't have to fucking.
Yeah, you're also going to be broke.
So to fucking what?
We're talking about this is the Gundam. This is the Gundam thing you were teasing, right?
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Gundam.
He just
Already.
Because he just stopped. I was waiting to hear, so I don't have to. And I'm like, do what? What are you?
This is getting bad. He's like, let me in. Don't keep me out of this.
No.
You wouldn't tell
just
me.
real quick. I just the daily player count for Final Fantasy 14 is like estimated around 200,000, and that's not too far off of WoW, which is almost 300.
Yeah.
According to what I'm looking at, like they're way more close than I expected them to be.
Oh yeah, they're the first like actual WoW competitor for a while. I remember like all the WoW refugees, quote unquote, when that
The
was happening.
Exodius.
Oh, what you mean the
Yeah.
only ones like dude? So funny enough, when that started happening, that was like I'm pretty sure, admittedly, the FF14 community's biggest injection of toxicity they'd seen.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what the funny part is I hate both of. I can't decide which general chat I hate more. Like they're both so infuriating to me.
I was not as bothered by FF14s as I had seen stupid shit in WoWs. I remember the old trade chat, and that was fucking. Well, no, I shouldn't say. Oh, it's still the exact same. It's not changed to this day. It is a cesspool of just weird shit.
Continue with your Gundam news.
Oh yeah. So Gundam has decided that that Warhammer 40K needs a competitor, and they are going to be releasing a tabletop game featuring 5-centimeter sized Gunpla models. There's now going to be a Warhammer Gundam game.
What's it called? Oh, here, Gundam Tabletop.
Yep, Gundam Assemble is what it's going to be called.
Maybe it'll last longer than Evolution.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how successful that's going to be, to be honest. I don't know Gundam at all. So I was curious on like what you had to say soon, because you love Gundam and you love Warhammer.
I love mecha
So I
in
wanted to-
general, but I definitely like have grown to love Gundam more and more as I've gotten older, weirdly enough. But I don't know. It like depends. Like I'm looking at what they have so far here. It looks pretty neat. Like
Yeah,
I guess it really comes down to what's the price point going to be.
yeah, that is a cause for concern. Warhammer has definitely always been the more expensive.
Yeah, I never got into Warhammer
hobby.
even though I wanted to. Like the tabletop. I'm into Warhammer, everything else, but the tabletop specifically.
So I don't have Gundam Evolution was where I really started paying attention to the Gundam IP. And since then, it seems like they just put out a bunch of garbage. Like every couple months, there's another Gundam thing, and then it goes away forever.
Well, the
I
Gundam
think you've
games,
just seen it now.
the Gundam games are kind of hit or miss a lot of the time. It seems.
What are the hits? I know Evolution was destroyed by its own creators to some degree, in my opinion.
I mean, Gundam. What were you playing, Miller? Was it Gundam
that was
Breaker?
a good game, though.
Gundam
Breaker was
Breaker's
fine.
popular. Yeah. Gundam Breaker.
Is that the button masher one?
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
Battle Operation's still going, isn't it?
That's not the greatest game either.
Is that the one we played?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like it's
no.
not like they're 100. It's not like they're fantastic, but they're still going. Like,
But dude, I'm not saying it's a bad IP. I'm just saying it seems like a lot of what they put out is like pretty unsuccessful.
It's like
You know,
old Warhammer games.
I guess. So we're waiting for the Gundam Space Marine 2. When that hits, oh boy.
that'd be pretty cool.
Oh boy.
It does sound
Um,
pretty cool.
It's kind of funny because like some of the bigger ones I've seen, it's like Gundam's included in. Like I know the Super Robot series is super beloved, and that has Gundam crossovers a lot of the time.
I was gonna say World of Warships. Does that have a Gundam crossover?
I don't know.
Dude, I wouldn't be
It has
surprised.
to.
The World of Warships crosses over with fucking anything.
World of Warships had a Warhammer crossover, 40K cross, did it not? Or is
Dude,
that just like the Badger video putting information in my brain?
Dude, it has. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Well, I always think of the Warhammer or the World of Warships X Ruby, I think.
Oh god.
I do not want Ruby in my fucking comms screaming at me. Fuck off.
I don't know. I just love every time I see X Ruby pop up, it makes me laugh.
You reminded me of a game I played, which is like a Dynasty Warriors Gundam game.
Oh, fuck, what is that called?
I don't remember. I just remember I hated it. I thought it was so bad.
Dynasty Warriors Gundam, straight.
Is that what it was?
There's
I was
this-
like,
yeah,
oh, that
that's
looks
what
kind
it
of
is.
fun.
Those games were good. From
No, I
Three.
hated that game. Oh my gosh.
Which one? Actually, hold on.
Whichever one I played. I
Because I know 3's the good, really good one.
don't think it was 3.
But
Doesn't
this is
sound
also
like
like
it was
back
3.
in PlayStation 3. Like that's the last good one that I can think off the top of my head, though I'm not familiar. But hold on. I want to go on a little tangent right here. So World of Warships, World of Warplanes, and World of Tanks, all wargaming, right? They have had crossovers with Girls in Panzer, Fury, Archipelago of Blue Steel, Valkyria Chronicles, High School Fleet, Warhammer, Azra Lane, HoloLive, Transformers, Hot Wheels, G.I. Joe, Godzilla, King Kong, Terminator, Popeye, Vic Rattlehead, Eddie the Head, Might and Magic, Dune, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Trek, and Vikings.
What the fuck is the Popeye one?
That's where you caught me at Popeye. Like, where the fuck? Who do you even ask to like license Popeye from?
Yeah, you
Dude,
can
I
have
typed
him as the
in World of
commander.
Warships Popeye, and the article says Popeye in the armory.
Neat. I got Popeye's chicken.
My team consists of a fucking Transformer, a T-800, Godzilla, Popeye, a fucking Ship Girl, and then a fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I'm gonna post this in our chat.
What the
I don't
fuck
even
is
know what we're
that?
doing. I don't know. It's not even a good design.
No, it's not.
Oh, is World of Warships just the Fortnite? Like you get Goku warships, and it's that.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it'll be there. Don't worry. What were we talking about?
It was 2. Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. That's the one I played.
It's rant o'clock.
Miller
Oh
did.
my
He did
God.
say that they get good at 3, so you missed the boat.
Yeah, you got to keep going.
Oh, I didn't want to. It's so bad. Anyway, yeah, to go on with what we were talking about. I did have an article from by Games Radar where they spoke to a former Starfield lead who was quoted as saying that people have been fatigued with huge games, and that he owes some of that to the success of games like Skyrim and Fallout 4. He actually apologized for how good they were. And I was curious, like, do you guys kind of feel this, like, feel like that too, that games are getting like too huge in regards to like you could just kind of, they're just time sinks. Like you just dump hours and hours and hours.
Oh, okay. If you're talking about like time sync wise, maybe. But I mean, like if I'm in like gauge with the game the entire time, then I don't mind a long game.
I mean, it depends on the game for me, like in the genre.
Yeah, that too that's a big factor too.
Like sinking like 100 hours into a visual novel, I have no problem with. Sinking 75 hours into an like a JRPG that I'm interested in, I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, exactly. Like those I'm completely agreeing with. I do not mind that at all.
But like a shooter that goes on for 2 hours too long is too much.
Yes.
Like it's all genre dependent for me.
If I hear sandbox, I'm leaving at this point, you know, like open world like I'm good. I don't. And a lot of this is because I am, you know, full-time kids. Like I don't have time for that. The other like, and honestly, sometimes I'll go into a game and it'll like, here's the intro. That was fun. Cool. I'm excited about this game. And then it drops me in a huge city and I'm done. I don't, if you don't tell me where I'm supposed to, I guess I'm just getting old. Like if you don't tell me where I'm supposed to go, I got other stuff I should probably be doing, you know, like
Carrot and stick for you every time.
I just don't have time to wander around accomplishing. That's why I quit WoW a long time ago, is because I realized at one point I'd spent like 8 hours wandering around and hadn't accomplished anything except some mining. You know, I was like, I cannot let my life be this. And then, as far as like open world sandbox, I think I played 1 or 2 of the Assassin's Creeds and that was like all I needed. Collecting thing. And like when I saw the same thing repeated of like, okay, you have big open areas and you go collect all the little stuff and do little side missions, get sidetracked. I can't, I just lose it. So they might be right, at least for a part of the player base, you know. I want to go back and play more RoboCop because it was distinctly not that. But I don't know. It's not an alluring feature anymore to have a giant open world. I really want great mechanics and or a great story.
Yeah.
Size and time don't mean a whole lot at this point.
Yeah, for me, because I remember we were talking about this in the Discord with someone else too. As an example, like Cyberpunk for me, one of the reasons I like it so much is because it was a game that I could just beat whenever I wanted, really. Like I could choose to dump way more time into it if I wanted to, or I can just get the full main story and just beat the game. And it's just kind of like a linear path to do that. That's what I really liked about that game. Because yeah, I kind of agree with the whole sandbox games kind of not being I just end up getting them and playing them for like a couple of days and then dropping them completely.
Yeah. Well, and Cyberpunk had like a great story, like I was saying, right? So like that can, if as long as the story's good, yeah. But a lot of the ones I played, like it's told even if the story's good, it's told very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the counter of that would be like God of War is an open world game, but the way they tell the story is I'm hooked, you know?
Yeah. What were you saying, Jacob?
It like, because like to give it like definitely depends on genre and developer, like who.
Yeah.
Because like Ubisoft drops like some game I went like theme setting that I was interested in. I probably wouldn't want to play 100 hours of it. But if FromSoft dropped another Souls like Elden Ring type open world that takes 100 hours to beat, I'd be down. Like it's all dependent on the genre, the game, and I'd even take like a really long Armored Core, even though they've usually been pretty short comparatively.
See, you're flashing me back to the Erd Tree expansion because I remember we kind of talked about this. I remember saying that I would have preferred almost more of the linear dungeons over the open world.
I am in agreement because I didn't even go back and finish some stuff. I really just wanted, like, I already played the open world. And don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing like this is just totally subjective, right?
Yeah.
Like that expansion is great. But for me personally, I kind of just wanted to go here, dude. Like I love that Jacob was nice enough to guide. He said, go here, go here, go here. Cause I would have just stopped playing eventually. I need, I felt that would have been stronger in my opinion.
Do you think we're just too old, Fliz?
Maybe, man. I don't like what this really boils down to is when you guys hear open world length, open world, really long game, does that make you more or less excited about the game?
And neither. I need more information.
Neither.
I don't feel one way or the other on open world.
I'm more interested, but again, like Miller just said, I do want more information.
I feel less, but I think that has to do with there being so many poor open world games.
Well, on top of that, we play so many multiplayer games that like that's kind of what I know. That's what I like to play. And a lot of times I'll be sitting there playing a game by myself that I'm enjoying. But now I'm playing it by myself when everybody's in the Discord playing Marvel. I'm not just going to sit here and be by myself.
Dude, no, there are times where I'll boot something up and then you guys will be like Marvel. And I'm like, I guess I'm closing this. Go play Marvel.
Yeah. So that probably affects a lot of that. Like I don't want games to be long anymore. I just don't. Because there's so much to play and so much other stuff to do.
You just made me think of the fact that like there's a trilogy of visual novels that I want to get into, but I don't want to get through the first game.
Are you talking about a certain one that is?
Yes, I'm talking about Muv-Luv.
Yeah,
I want to read Muv-Luv, but I don't want to read I'm having such a problem starting the first one.
Well, you don't want to do the dating sim. You want to do the mecha stuff.
Yes.
Oh God.
Oh, here, look, I'll just do the dating sim for you. and then you can do the mecha stuff.
But it's an interesting thing. It's like situation because only the first game is like the dating sim, and then the other stuff is mecha.
It is just straight up. It is a just standard like dating sim visual novel for the first game, but it directly is required for the second and third game, which are a direct continuation.
I could be on board for this.
And it is a completely different genre.
Nice.
Like
that's cool. I like that.
Like the third game is it's the second highest rated visual novel of all time on VNDB, which is Visual Novel Database. And it's only like 0.01 points behind first place.
What's first place?
Steins Gate.
What's third place?
I don't fucking know. No one cares about the.
Well, I just wanted to know like where the ones I've heard of are. Like, because I'd say that I've played like maybe close. I played like a half dozen visual novels at this point.
What's the longest visual novel you've played?
Which one was the longest or which one felt the longest?
Yes, both.
Either or, I guess, yeah.
Oh, Hooked on You. I hated every fucking second of that game.
Dude, I knew you were going to bring up the Dead by Daylight one.
Oh my God. Not being the biggest Dead by Daylight fan and like, what's the one? Love is Blind? No, Love. The one.
Eldritch One or?
The one I played. The one that
Sucker for Love.
Sucker for Love, yeah.
Sucker for Love. Thank you. That hooked me, and I was like, "Shit, these are good." And then I realized they're not all good.
Well,
That
the first
was
one's
good.
great. The second one is different.
I don't.
The funny part. So on VNDB, Sucker for Love has a 7.08. Sucker for Love Date to Die For has a 7.38. The sequel is rated higher on VNDB.
That's why I wasn't going to say how I feel about that game. Because people like it. I thought it was such a downgrade. Like, it was so much worse than the first one. It was kind of weird to see people hyping up the second one. I was like, did y'all just read the same shit I just read? Because that was tough. That was hard. That was difficult literature. It was like, oh no, I don't people that it's a totally subjective opinion. I just thought it had a lot of problems that really hooked me on the first one they got rid of, and never mind. It's fine. Apparently people like it. I'm wrong.
To kind of double back on the too long. What do you think of this? The second half of this visual novel series, it's because it's a 2-part series. Like it's basically the entire package is both put together. Is the second half's playtime very long, with an average of 71 hours and 58 minutes to get through it as the median time. That's the second half.
Read a book.
Yeah, really. Read a dozen books.
That's basically what it is. It's like a short collection of novels, basically. It's the same as recommending a book series, basically, for these really long visual novels.
Yeah.
People read manga. It's all reading. You could be watching MILF Manor, so whatever, go for it.
Was his recommendation is a certain KFC based one?
No, that was the worst shit I've ever seen. That was, if that one was longer, it would have been the worst thing I've ever played. Like, that shit was a nightmare.
It was just funny how not happy you were going through that.
I'm not afraid to shit on that one. That thing was utter garbage. I've never wanted my time back as badly as I did with that.
Good question. No, sorry. I was just going to say, Miller, where does that rank on the visual novel TNFS?
Nowhere. It just doesn't. I'm not even going to let you answer it.
What
it just
the fuck
doesn't.
was
it's
it
so
called?
terrible.
Something about Colonel Sanders.
Are you talking about the KFC one or whatever?
11 herbs and spices to die for.
Here you go. I love you, Colonel Sanders. A finger licking good dating simulator. 4.45.
Ugh,
they hate it.
Good.
It's out of 10.
Good. It was crazy to see something that was created as a joke. The entire thing is a joke, and none of it was funny. Like, I feel like there's a lot of times, I mean, we've been saying it a lot today, but there's a lot of times where I'm looking at something and I can usually differentiate, like, this is subjectively or objectively bad. No, I'm glad that one's objectively bad. Like, that shit is terrible. Because humor, like, I don't like the hooked on you one, but some people I saw streaming it that were like homies and stuff at the time, like, they loved it. They were all about it. So I kind of figured that one was my own problem. But yeah, no, that KFC one is trash. Throw it in the garbage. It's not worth the price of free. Takes your time as a time vampire. Okay, are we done talking about visual novels? I don't have the time for
you
that.
guys started it, so
we derailed you ever since you brought up Gundam.
Oh yeah, we got a lot left.
No, I just want to hear what you guys thought about like long length games. It seems like we're kind of at a similar consensus where it more matters like the full experience than just having like a never ending, I can always put more time in kind of thing. It really just depends on like what kind of experience you're getting and if it's any good.
I've never really valued like the time that I can play something for.
Yeah, and I remember we were talking to someone and that was like an important factor for them. And I always thought it's weird because you ever hear that like I want to make sure I get my hour per dollar whenever I buy a game. You guys ever hear that before?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's such a strange concept to me, just because like there's still people playing Mario 64. Like, and they have been for thousands and thousands of hours. Like, it's such a
people have gone into multiverse theory.
But first, let's talk about parallel universes.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Parallel universe.
and 4 PUs ahead of you.
that video is amazing. But yeah, like the amount of time you can get out of a game is so subjective for everyone. Where some people will just play for an hour, someone like will just play it for like 10 years. Like it just, it's impossible to really value anything over time.
Remember when we found the Hello Kitty guy with thousands and thousands of hours in Hello Kitty Sanrio Friends Racing?
I like how you know the title now.
Yeah, man, that's where I want to interview him. We should interview him for the podcast.
Oh my
If I can
gosh.
find him, be like, hey, we really need to know what I need to. I think about that from time to time. Like, I'll be on Steam and I'll open it and I'll just be like, fucking Hello Kitty, man.
Still
That fucking
playing it.
guy.
What about that guy? It's like on Steam, you can find him. What is that visual novel series? There's 3 volumes of it, and the same dude has like 4,000 hours in each entry.
Nekopara, right?
Nekopara, yeah, that's what it is.
I think he has like 48,000 hours in total. Something like that.
Now, is that smut?
Yes and no. You need
I
a
think-
patch
okay, see,
for it.
that's-
Yeah. It's one of those things you have to like get the H pack for it if you want it to be.
I don't know what
Austin.
that means, but
Hentai.
the idea that that's smut to some degree versus the Hello Kitty, which I don't know what he's doing with it.
Dude, I think the
Like-
playtime in a smut game is scarier.
That is such a sinister statement. I don't know what
Oh
he's
my
doing
God.
with it.
I don't, man, because the smut game is smut and people get weird about their porn. Like, I've had people come into the Discord and be like, do you want to see my porn? Like, that's like, people are weird with porn.
That is,
right?
I never understood that. You want to see this thing that's supposed to be private? Like,
I'm not saying I do either, but I'm just saying that it happened. Okay. So with that known, I can be like, when it comes to people's sexual proclivities, we'll say, anything goes, right? People do, but then I'm looking at like 6,000 hours in Hello Kitty racing. There's nothing there. What's going on? There's no reason you should have played that game for more than like an hour
just like
or
racing
two.
AI. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. His review says it's fine.
it does not help.
That's gonna drive me insane till the day I die. So
On your deathbed, mumbling about Hello Kitty sandwiches. Your wife is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Where is he?
Is he okay?
Is he okay? How?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
But that's all I had, at least for today.
oh,
We can
nice.
I'll take it from here and speed through my things if we still have time.
Yeah, go for it. What do you got?
First and foremost, Sony is making a Helldivers movie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Helldivers
go.
on Horizon, right? I think there's like 2 things they were talking about.
I vaguely remember the Horizon. They're doing something else.
I think it's Horizon Zero Dawn.
What other video game movie are they making? I can't think of it off the top of my head. We talked about it before, but I can't remember what it was.
Until Dawn?
That might be what it.
That seems stupid.
that game is already like a cinematic thing. So why would you make a movie of
I'm
it?
pretty sure it's Until Dawn.
I mean, they did the remake of it too, so who knows? So they're
What's
just doing
funny
whatever
is-
with it.
Until Dawn is also using like mocap, like the characters are the actors, like so they basically just digitize the actors. So why what?
Well, apparently it's completely different. So I further don't understand the point.
The only thing I'm like, yeah, they might be making that movie, but is it like a movie or is it like a movie by that guy who hires Mila Jovovich every time? Because those are like always bad.
It's a video game movie. Video game movie. So probably the latter.
Yeah.
Also, doesn't Sony
Yeah.
own the rights to Starship Troopers?
That was what I was going to bring up is could you do Helldivers and would it be any better than the original Starship Troopers? Because that's a tough one to beat.
It is.
It's just the Starship Troopers movie, 1-for-1, but remade.
I would love another Starship Troopers, dude.
You wouldn't even have to remake. I hope that the one thing that they keep is like everybody's dying and everybody's super patriotic. You can do whatever else you want with the story. It just needs to keep that same energy
I'll do
of
my part.
like the zombie corpses come back still saluting type energy. You know?
Like you mean
just-
Helldivers democracy type energy,
Yes.
which is definitely inspired by Starship Troopers.
And it's just got to keep the on the nose political satire.
Yeah.
It's time doing my part.
Hopefully it's picked up by a good studio that cares. I also thought it was funny that it was like Helldivers 2 is getting a movie. Are we going to call it Helldivers 2?
I hope we just call it Helldivers 3 and then we skip straight to
Helldivers 3.
Well, we already know who's making it because it's Sony, right? Sony's just making it.
Yeah, I think Sony
Yeah,
Pictures,
yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Continue. I'm going to look at what Sony's done recently.
All right. Our next thing.
Just real quick, I wanted to say they're also making an anime spinoff of Ghost of Tsushima. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
I did hear that, yes.
Okay.
But that's what the I can't remember what other video game movie they're making. I think it was Until Dawn.
I'm pretty sure. Like 90%.
No, it's definitely probably the Minecraft movie I'm thinking of, right?
Minecraft.
No, but to continue on, AGDQ, Awesome Games Done Quick, has started.
Ooh.
I saw that today when I was checking out Twitch. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it started on the 7th. I think it's running till the 15th. I don't remember who they're partnered up with right for this run for this year, but it's always a good time, especially when they get to some of the more fun events.
Are they doing Falling to Vegas right now?
They very well could be. Like, I know I don't remember what day it is, but they're doing the awful block where they just speedrun a bunch of garbage video games. I think Superman 64 starts it off.
Hell yeah.
Astrobot has to be in there, right?
Astrobot was in the first day, I believe. It's definitely in there. I saw it. Yeah, just
I've
one.
never watched. Is it like just, I mean,
It's speedrunners.
is it, well, I don't know. I don't like speedrunners. I like documentaries about speedrunners. I like
Yeah.
them to skip the speedrunning part and tell me the interesting stuff.
Upside. Carl Jobst, that's the goat.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, because it's just basically an 8-day stream, but there's always they upload each run individually to their YouTube, and then there's Reddit thread that gets made after it finishes that has a bunch of the like the most interesting runs to watch, either from like the game's tricks that are very interesting to see and so forth, or like devs commenting on it, because I think they've had devs on before, or just the commentary on certain games was very good.
I just remember there's also a scene where I'm pretty sure it's AGDQ where, you know, some super cringy stuff happens and people love the clip of that.
Oh yes, there's
Stuff I like.
There's always cringe. There's always cringe.
Was it AGDQ with the guy that was like, I'd really prefer it if you'd stop talking to the
Yes.
one guy that, yeah.
Yes, but
And then that guy, I watched like an hour documentary on that guy alone. He was kind of a problem.
Oh, the guy that wouldn't stop talking, or the guy that asked him to stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
The guy
heard
that
a
wouldn't
bit
stop
more
talking.
about him. Like, oh, he's not a victim at all.
the one of the fucking Jack and Daxter runs I remember watching back in oh god, it's got to be 4 or 5 years at this point, when they started bringing up a Canadian airline, like jokingly, and they were giving it shit because I believe the runner was late because of them, or they lost his bag or something like that. It was something along the lines of that. But they were jokingly giving him shit, and it ended up leading to the runner and the couch for commentating getting banned for a year. But that run was spicy. The commentator and the couch were having a great time.
Another ones I remember is I think again it was JDQ, but the crowd just started doing the Waluigi wah, like randomly, and then the guy takes the mic and he's like, "None of you are funny, and if you want to help prevent cancer, there's a tram running outside every hour on the hour that you can stand in front of." And I was like,
Oh, dang.
it's funny is after he took the mic, put the mic back, they just wah. But it's like, I was like, how do you not get banned saying that as like a commentator?
Who knows?
Telling people to go play in traffic.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Sony Pictures does do all the Resident Evil movies that I hate so much.
Let's go. I still haven't seen the 6th one. I haven't seen the final one.
Which one's that?
The final one. Like, I haven't seen
We
it.
watched the first one,
Oh,
or did I watch that alone?
No, we watched the first one.
Okay, so we need to watch the second one.
Yes, I've seen the first. I've seen the 5 of the 6. I have not seen the last one.
I don't think I've seen the final chapter either.
No, I remember we were going to watch all the Resident Evil movies, and then we watched the first one and never went back.
The best part is the first one's by far the best one.
Were we kind of just sitting there like,
It was very of its time, and the movies never really grew up. So like I've seen them all. I couldn't tell you which one is which or a single scene that was good. Good, not like fun good, like stupid good, because there's a lot of stupid good stuff. I think I want to go back. I want to go back and we'll start at 2.
I'm down.
And
I'm down.
I remember seeing 2 in theaters because I was that hyped for it, and it's just it was a letdown.
Is 2 all of Raccoon City? I can't remember if Raccoon
Yes.
City is 2 or 3. Is just 2 or it's also 3?
2 is Raccoon City, and then they did Welcome to Raccoon City later, which we watched, which isn't part of that
Yep.
timeline, I guess.
that was the one with all the really weird casting choices, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 and 4 blend together. Which one is the one where they're like hiking through the desert for like the entire fucking
Oh
movie?
fuck! I don't even
Don't
remember.
know.
But you know,
There's one in the desert. There's one in the ice. There's one on a boat. But they're all the same movie, so it's whatever. There's one with like a secret fake Japan underground or something.
Yes.
There's one with a bunch of
'Cause
clones.
that's the
I don't
one.
know,
That's
man.
the one with Leon, right? He shows up.
Maybe.
I think.
Dude, okay, can I just say that's one of the things I hated about those movies is they bring in like characters from the series or supposed to be characters and they like take a back burner and it's boring.
Yeah. What I hated about them is they're all bad. I don't think I guess they make money anyway. I just wanted to bring that up because that's exactly the opposite of what I was hoping for.
Maybe it'll be fine.
It's actually just the 7th Resident Evil movie. That's all the Helldivers movie is going to be.
Oh man. You know what? Even those are still not the Monster Hunter movie, which I could not.
Didn't that also have
believe.
Mila?
Son of a bitch, that's Sony Pictures.
Dude, it was literally both the former and the latter. She's in everything.
Oh, the Helldivers movie is
my
going to be so
gosh.
bad. I can't
It's
wait.
already cooked. It's done. Throw it away. It's burnt.
Can you imagine Until Dawn? Oh, dude.
Which character is Mila Jovovich this time?
All of them.
I don't care. Yeah, she can just be all of them. Who gives a shit?
Just a slightly different colored wig.
Oh, I wish my husband was a director. Then I could be in every movie.
Your husband?
My husband, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Does he know this?
Is it W.S.? I don't know. That's movie stuff. I guess it's video game stuff. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, you got it right.
What do
Paul
we got
W.S.
next?
Anderson.
Okay, because there's another Paul Anderson who's actually a good director. He's a good director.
Did
This
you
one
just
is
say
not.
next to our next thing and then immediately told that?
Yeah, but then soon responded. So now we're at this crossroads. I'm
cross-
going to let you have
The other
it.
director's Paul Blart.
Why did you let him have it?
All right. What you got next?
Little side tangent because I saw someone stated this and it fucked me up. I saw a comment yesterday that said that the Konami code is as close to World War II as it is to modern day and when it was first seen, which threw me for a loop.
Is that just like we're all old now?
that was I'm old at this point.
You've been reminded of your own mortality.
I think it was a thread on like the most what is like the most popular like video game code. Like what was the first one you thought of? And the Konami code was like only like the 6th or 7th answer.
Really? I saw
Wow.
that Reddit thread and I was like Konami code and didn't click on it. Like I looked at the title and
it's
moved along.
It's like Motherload, the Sims one, Doom's like IDDFA or whatever. There was the San Andreas code, I think, was one of them, and there was a few other ones before it that I saw before it, and that's what really caught me off guard. And I saw that comment, I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah, I remember the Motherload card or code.
Just the
since-
fact that the Konami code isn't first is throwing me.
Right?
Like that.
Like,
Yeah.
That was
regardless
that,
of time.
I was like, why is it not? And then someone said that. I was like, oh no, I'm old.
Yeah.
That was my first video game boomer moment that I've had in a
Oh
while.
man.
I mean, if you want to feel real old, the guy who made it like passed away like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
Good. He wasn't
Good?
alive for this travesty.
Damn.
No, he didn't live to see this horrible future we all live in.
What the fuck is multi-frame generation?
It transcended the fact that it transcended Konami itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
On to our next piece of news, though. So because of the lawsuit, we have gotten the development costs for some Call of Duty games.
Oh, this is gonna be wild.
So, but the three we got were Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare 2019, and Black Ops Cold War. How much do you think they were?
To create all or out or including advertising.
It's the overall cost for them.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
do you want to go individually or in total?
I'm gonna say like $500 million each, $500 million for each of them.
All right. What about you, Fliss?
No, soon. You go.
There's a winner here.
650 million.
650? Okay. I'm gonna say 499.
Okay.
I'm locking it in.
So Black Ops 3 was $450 million.
I won.
2019 was $690 million.
Oh.
I lost.
And Cold War was over $700 million.
We
Oof.
all lost.
What?
Man, that's crazy for essentially releasing the same fucking game every year.
Those three games together almost cost $2 billion.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure what's kind of crazy too is mostly marketing, because I do know that they reuse assets all the time, like constantly. So that cuts a lot of the development speed and cost out of it. So that's why like everyone knows about Call of Duty, is because they put so much marketing money out there. Isn't that crazy that
Man.
Concord costs almost as much as Call of Duty?
Well,
It didn't make any of it back.
by like, I mean, yeah, as much as Call of Duty did like, what, 10 years ago?
Still, like, that's a lot.
It's just fucking crazy. They had 300 million plus to make up to cut the difference.
Because it made no money.
Like, what do you think GTA 6 is going to cost?
Oh my god.
It doesn't matter. They'll make it back.
They'll make
It
it
doesn't
back
matter,
for
but
sure.
yeah.
Weeks.
I mean, these guys made it back with just the sales, not let alone the microtransactions.
Yeah, GTA.
Yeah.
What would GTA 6's cost be? How much was GTA 5? It was like 700 something million, I think, right?
They're going like more high tech with 6 too, of course. So
Or wait, no, I'm thinking of a different game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. GTA 5 was 265 million.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Star Citizen for some reason.
I actually looked it up, and it says apparently the development budget for GTA 6 is $2 billion.
Oh, fuck me. I didn't realize.
Wait, really?
Wait, for what?
Apparently, the development of Grand Theft Auto 6 has a budget of $2 billion.
Oh, it's a budget.
Yeah,
Okay, so
budget,
we don't know
yeah.
how much they actually
Yeah,
spent.
no, this is the only thing I can find at the moment is that it has a like an estimated budget of about $2 billion.
Even then, like if it did cost $2 billion, that's not even a fourth of what they made off of GTA 5.
Hold on. I misread this. That Cold War number isn't marketing, it's development. It's just
Oh.
development.
Really?
That's insane.
According to this, yes. Yeah, according to this, yes, it is only development.
Why? I don't see how. That's actually kind of absurd.
Did you not see the Santa Claus And the gun skin you can get?
Okay. No, someone at Activision is totally like quiet quitting. What the fuck?
No, so if I'm to really put an idea in this, it's not so much that the game costs that much to develop, it's that it costs that much to develop it quickly enough, right? So you're jacking money into it, so you have hundreds of developers working every day on it just to make sure that even though it's the same kind of game, by next year you can re-release it and it will be caught up with everybody's systems and work for everybody. Like it's more about time than actual innovation or, graphical development, or it's just being able to get it done in time where all the money's going.
That's what's crazy to me, is because like, if you don't have to do that much, like, I don't know, that seems insane. Unless they're outsourcing a lot of it. I could see that.
It could be.
Yeah, is outsourcing a ton of the work.
When it costs, was it $10,000 a month or something like that to have a full-time developer on staff? Like that's the general accepted monthly salary is $10,000, and then you have hundreds of those motherfuckers. Like,
yeah, for development costs, I know like the biggest chunk of it is usually just paying people's salary, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're just throwing them at them like all these chefs in the kitchen, which doesn't make a better game, but it makes a game faster.
Even then, like you could have so many people to work on the game. Like that is such a crazy amount. I can't even wrap my head around that cost. Like that seems absurd to me. I don't even see how it could cost that much. And I know that's definitely like picked clean. Like knowing Activision, they're cutting every corner they can.
The best part is, according to official,
like, even if it costs $10,000 a month per developer, like to have them on for a year, you could have a few million of them on $400 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because 100 developers.
Wait, what?
We're looking at 12 million a year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, I see it now.
Yeah, and there's no way you had, there's not even that many game developers like available to hire. Like that wouldn't be a thing. That's such a crazy amount of money to me. I can't. And that's for one game, right? That's just for Cold War.
Yes, that's just for Cold War.
Yeah.
Jeez, I wonder what it is.
So you could hire like 2,000 people for 3 years at 10,000 for that cost, right?
You could hire how many?
You could hire 2,000 people for 700 million at 10,000.
An article from 3 years ago is saying that they had 3,000 active devs on their various Call of Duty games.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because but that's also including these guys were working every single day a year, which they weren't. So,
I mean, but if I thought they were using a couple hundred, they're using thousands of devs.
Yeah, that makes more sense then. Yeah, if it's 3,000 devs.
Yeah, because I could. It did average of 10K, so 120,000.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it's
Still,
like 3 devs every million then for 3 years, because I think Call of Duty games are 3 years still, right? Roughly.
I don't know.
I do not remember.
I gave up.
I am assuming that it's roughly like 3 years is what I was thinking. As each studio cycles.
Still, I mean, they're going to do it. I mean, it's pulling in billions, so.
Yeah. But on the list of most expensive video games, it's only in second.
Ooh, are we going to guess it first?
I mean, if you want to.
It's not that infinite development game, is it?
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen is fourth.
Citizen. It was close.
Ashes of Creation.
I don't know if it's on here.
Wait, what is it?
The most
Is it
expensive
Grand Theft Auto?
The most expensive game to develop. It makes sense once you think about it, but I wouldn't have guessed it first.
The
World of
most
Warcraft.
expensive game to develop.
According to official figures that we have.
Oh, it might actually be WoW because that comes out like
Is it Fortnite?
that's on his schedule
No,
too.
it's not
Oh.
Fortnite. It is
No.
it is a mobile game. Well,
Ah.
it's also on PC, but you definitely think of
Genshin
it mobile
Impact.
for. Yes. Yes, Genshin Impact has cost them over 900 billion
Holy
or
shit.
900 million.
What the
excuse me,
fuck?
in total.
Oh,
Because-
$900 million?
Yes, because it costs them like 200 something every year. With it being a live service type game. Because it cost $1 million for initial development and it's cost them 200 million each year since.
Dang,
Jeez.
well, Genshin generates 1.5 billion a year.
Yeah, no. Like Miho's fucking output is insane. Like they have a new
Yeah.
I think they're like they have a major like the next beat of the story, like the story like patch like 0.1, 0.2 type thing is every 6 weeks.
Dude, the games like that and I'm like jealous of people that like these games. I
You have
wish.
content forever. Like
Yeah.
and they have 3 of these fucking games now.
I was gonna say Zenless Zone Zero gets updated that often too, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
Honkai Star Rail
Oh right, they also had Honkai. Yeah, no, they're killing it.
or
Oh, damn.
whatever it is.
Yeah, no, they got it fucking locked down.
They
man.
have
Jesus.
money.
Oh, I'm jealous. I wish I had one of these right now. I wish I tried them. Not for me. Aggressively not for me. But yeah. I've seen the fans. I used to stream with a couple of the fans of these kind of things and they love it. They love it so much. And I'm jealous. I want that in my life.
I did play Genshin Impact at one point. I don't actually I played for a little while. I don't even really know what you do in it, to be honest with you.
It's a gotcha game, but it's the combat was super simplistic from what I remember, and it like played really snappily, and it had stuff to do, but it was like a gotcha game with a nice sheen on top.
Yeah. I remember wandering around just fighting random things for a few hours.
Yeah, it's just a big open world. You go get stuff and then roll and get more stuff, and then yeah, I kind of it was speaking of that open world problem. Like that was these are one of the games where I was like, nah, I don't have time for this. This is
I would have loved Genshin way more if it wasn't a gacha game. But
if you took the gotcha out and maybe the art style and changed that with something a little more serious, I'd probably
be fine
on
with
it.
the art style as it is. It's literally just the gacha elements. I don't want to spend $2,000 on someone.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, those numbers are ridiculous. What else you got?
I'm gonna close out with one thing since I think we're coming up on time here, right?
Sure.
All right, I have more stuff. I'll keep going. We could be here
Sure.
for 2.5 hours. All right,
Sure.
no. The Armored Core episode of Secret Level. Turns out Keanu Reeves had broken his kneecap the entire time, so he's filming the entire episode with a broken kneecap, which is why his character had the limp.
Wasn't he just sitting in a chair?
No, remember like when he was the bar scene and walking out and everything, and
No cap.
actually getting in, he had no kneecap. His kneecap was busted.
Hey, man. Millions of dollars can make you forget about a lot of pain.
Apparently, like when he was recording, like he was like, "All right, let's do another take," and people were just like, "Dude, don't you need to go like sit down? Like,
No.
are you okay? Your kneecap
No.
is broke." But Keanu was like, "Let's go again."
I mean, I saw that same article and I'm like, wow, people think that's crazy, but he's been doing nothing but action movies forever. I'm sure he's broken. Like this is nothing new to him. So I don't know. It's cool, I guess.
I think is he done with the John Wick movies and everything now?
He has said maybe.
Maybe.
Which, like, I really love the first one. I like the second one, but those last two are like,
There's
all right, dude.
There is the exact thing about game being too long in movie form. Like that fucking last sequence. Can you call it a sequence? The last like start of action in the fourth John Wick movie it's fucking 40 minutes too long. And it's 40, 50 minutes too long. It's like 75 minutes long. It's exhausting.
Everything is exhausting when everybody's running around like Dracula, putting their coat over their face, fucking deflect all the bullets. It was a neat thing, and then they killed it.
They did have that really cool sequence though, with the dragon breath rounds with the shotgun inside that building, where you saw it from the like it slowly panned over to a top down perspective.
There's a lot of there's a lot of cool set pieces in there. The problem is that a lot of getting to those is like filled with running around with the jacket over your face, which is specifically a John Wick 4 problem.
How about, or the fucking, the one that I always think of is the fucking fight in the roundabout towards the beginning of that sequence for the cars. They're fighting like 2 cars away from each other, like the entire time.
I like them shooting at each other with the silencers that are completely silent as they walk through a very busy subway or something.
Is that the second movie, right? Second or third?
Maybe it's whichever one had Common in it. This is so. I remember he said after John Wick 4 he was done, but then recently I saw another thing where he was asked about it and he's like, maybe we'll see, so maybe he'll do another one.
Yeah. It's cool because he really loves doing those movies too.
That's his whole career.
Well, I read an article saying that the only reason that the movies are called John Wick is because he liked the character so much that he'd only ever say John Wick when asked about it, and eventually forgot the actual name of the movie and what it was supposed to be. So they just ended up calling it John Wick because he just promoted it as that was the movie.
I mean, it's definitely a script you could do that with.
Yeah. And also, did you see a lot of people were talking about how he reloads like pistols now and guns, how he like flicks it to the side to like make the mag fly out and then reload. Like that's an actual thing people are starting to do now because it's a faster way to reload.
That's he invented that.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm sure there's some guy who was, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's as long as you don't need that magazine. You don't need that magazine back.
Yeah, but so like that's like I can say like maybe some guy was doing it before, but honestly, like when you're on gun ranges and stuff, you stay pretty
stationary,
strict to whatever rules there are.
Yeah.
Well, just like you're not fucking around because people get shot. But in a movie where your job is to make things look flashy and cool, you might discover something that nobody ever did before because it just seems like a stupid thing to do. So it's possible that he did actually discover that. And now it's being used, like you said, for speed targeting and maybe not speed target, but like
we're going to see it like the sports too, the gun sports. We're going to see people doing it.
The big shoot.
I want to talk about that guy from the Olympics, the guy from Turkey who just walked up, hand in pocket, fucking took silver or something, and walked away.
What a legend!
Legend indeed. All right, y'all got anything else, or are we?
I've got more.
Are we done?
I've got more.
Soon, you got anything else, or are we done?
All right,
oh my god!
So the other Blade devs, Skill Up, celebrated how well they were doing by giving all of the 311 of their employees a PS5 Pro and $3,400 equivalent.
Good for them. Well, that's our episode for today. Thank you guys so much for listening.
What do you mean?
You told me to keep going, motherfucker.
I said soon.
No, before you said me, we can keep going.
Yeah, and then I said
but I'm
soon.
too autistic to tell that you were telling me sarcasm, so unfortunately.
Oh, shit, my bad.
I'm gonna hold on to some of my stuff for next time.
Nope, keep going. We're here. We're here until it's over. Don't care. Keep going.
I'm tired.
Come on, tell me. Reveal your secrets.
The news.
Reveal your secrets. It's not going to be news next week. Come on.
Okay, we're devolving, and that tells me that we really should just call it for now.
No, what are you talking?
I'm gonna call
not
it.
done yet.
Thank you so much for
How
listening.
fucking dare
We
you.
really appreciate it.
Where's your
one
news,
quick
Liz?
thing.
Come on, keep us going.
One quick thing before we go. I did want to make a quick shout out because I did forget to do this. For 2 Clicks Philip on YouTube, because 2 years ago he actually made a video that talked about what's called frame rate independent mouse movement. and technology used in VR headsets. And that is the essence of what Reflex 2 is from Nvidia. So he actually predicted that Nvidia technology 2 years ago.
Oh, well, that's fair. I can accept that extra piece of news.
Yeah. So I forgot to do it, so I just want to make sure it was in there. So
All right.
shout out
it's
to him.
in there. Good job, 2 Clicks Philip. What does he do?
He does a bunch of like tech videos as well.
Oh, cool. All right. Are we good? Okay.
Don't get him started.
No, I'm not. If y'all got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them on the video or podcast, or drop us a line at giantenemycrabpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Yeah, we already ranted, so we're done. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
I'll never forgive you. Goodbye.